Hi everyone, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, basis where you are. I'm Emily, a digital transformation consultant at Hyprbots, and today I have Mike Vaishnav with me. We are going to discuss a practical toolkit to bring efficiency in accruals. But before we get into details, Mike, would you want to introduce yourself?
Sure, thank you. I've been working for Silicon Valley for about close to 30 years, and had the work in a very diversified industries, and had fortunate enough to touch each and every aspects of the finance, including controllership, FP&A, treasury, tax, investors relations. And in last my two roles of the CFOs, I also managed the non-finance and operations department like legal, HR, IT, facilities, procurement. So I have very diversified and wide diverse experience of finance and operations.
Mm-hmm. That's great. I have divided this session into two parts. So the first part is current accrual landscape, and the second part we'd be diving into AI and accruals. So for the first part of this discussion, Mike, I'd like to ask you that would you like to highlight the importance of expense accruals for companies and how does it generally impact the financial reports?
So not even expense accrual, any accruals is a must for the company. If you see for the basic accounting principle, you have to match the revenue with your cost. So if you have booked the revenue, you have incurred the cost, but if you have not received the invoices, if you have not received the bill, if you do not enter the expenses, your profitability would have a roller coaster, because 1 month you have higher profitability because you have a lower expense because you did not book it. Next month you book all this catch up on those expenses, but you don't have revenue. So that would be a not right matching of the revenue and cost. So what you need to do it by accruing the expenses for which you have not received the invoices. You are matching your revenue with the cost, and that will give you the right profitability for the company, and that will have right tool for the investors as well as the analysts to make sure that company's profitability for the specific period is correct.
Got it. Understood. So as per your experience, Mike, in the current process used in the companies, what exactly is that, the current process?
So there are different companies using different processes. Most of the accrual processes are manual because you have to collect the information from the respective department. So I'll divide this into two different categories. One is the inventory accrual, and one is the expense accrual. So inventory accrual is pretty much, it would be as long as you receive the inventory, you will have a goods received note, and you can book as a received but not an invoice as an accounts payable. So that process could be pretty much automated for the most of the companies with a sophisticated ERP system. But the expense accrual is a very manual process, very time-consuming process, because people need to see whether they need to check with each and every department that how much services you have ordered, and whether you have not, if you have not received the invoices, they need to find out from that specific department. So most of the company, what I have seen it, as the final accountants will send the email to the respective department head that, hey, anything invoices are pending, what kind of services you have done it. They also look, if the PO system, they will look what's the open POs are there. And from that open POs, they can follow up with the right people that, hey, these are the open POs, we have it. Have you used these POs? Is any services or expenses have been incurred against that PO? If not, then of course you have to go through the manual process. But these are the kind of, though there are some of the ERP has done some of the recurring accruals, which some company will do the recurring accrual, but to get the more accurate accrual, you have to have some manual processes.
Mm-hmm. So a lot of back and forth between different teams.
Different teams, absolutely. And that's the kind of people generally, to the best practices, people will start doing from the negative day 2 or negative day 3. So by the time month end would come, they can get the correct information.
Got it. Understood. Can you also share the categories of accruals and how does the reversal happen?
So categories of accrual I shared in my previous question, that inventory and expenses. And expense has a different types of, depends on the size and nature of the company, different expenses. The reversal of the accrual, why will people do the reversal of the accrual? The different companies have different policies, but most of the company will book the accrual and immediately they will reverse it out. Why? Because let's say if you have incurred some of the consulting charges or legal expenses, or which you have not received the invoice on the 30th of the month, but if you receive invoice on the 5th of the month, but to close the books on the 30th of the month, you accrue it. But when your accounts payable will process the invoices, you do not need the accrual again to have a duplication of the expenses. So best practice would be book the accrual, reverse it, and rebook at the next month end.
Got it. Okay. And can you also highlight where exactly are the pain points, especially in the accrual process?
The main pain point I say is it's a manual process. So you have to collect the information, you have to collect the data, you have to go to the respective people to ensure. The biggest thing, the pain point would be ensuring the accuracy of the accrual, that whether you have accrued everything what you are supposed to do that. Because auditors will not allow us to do the overall general accrual. It has to have specific purpose and specific process associated with it.
Got it. Understood. Now I think I have a better grasp of accruals. Thank you so much, Mike, for helping me understand and helping the audience understand accruals and the current landscape. In the next section, we'll be covering AI and the different nuances of AI in accruals.
Oh, sure. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Welcome back, Mike. Thank you for taking us through the current landscape of accruals. Now let's discuss the role of AI in accruals. So a very broad topic, but I'll just ask you one question. Right? What role does AI play in accrual? And can you also help us with some examples to understand it better?
Absolutely. So AI, what I've been looking in the AI solutions lately and how they're working with the designing some of the AI accruals. I think AI can tremendously help this accrual process a lot faster. Not that I'm not saying that ERP cannot do that, but AI can, communication part of the AI would be it will enhance the ERP systems. Let me give you some example and then let me give you how AI can help you. So let's say if you want to do the accrual and you decide to have, first of all, in my previous session, I say you need to look for the PO for the accruals or something. AI can always look how many POs are open. We don't know human intelligence required. When you feed the right data to the AI can look, okay, these are the X amount of the POs are open. Now that POs are open, that AI can also send a message out instantly to the, who opened the PO or respective department head, however we craft the AI, and send them a message out that these are the open POs we have, have you rendered any services, and they can follow up automatically to them. So what happened in that case, there is no human intervention required. Once you set up the AI, said, okay, my negative day 3 or negative day 4, I want this information. So in that way, they will collect all information from the open POs or any other, or open POs or any service has been received, which they can ask with the right people of the department. Let's give you an example of legal department. They can ask the attorney and say, hey, do you have any services rendered? Which generally in a manual process in current environment, accountant will send an email out that, hey, send me anything you have received the services for legal or consulting or anything. Versus here, AI can send automated messages out, and once the answers will come, you can customize your AI in a way that they can book the accrual automatically, so no human intervention required, except, of course, somebody has to review the data. But there are so many other examples I can come up. Same thing for the inventory side also. If they have received the inventory, but the invoice has not been processed, or they don't have any 3-way match and only 2-way match, and if the inventory has been received, and if the invoice has to be pending, AI can look for what's the inventory needs to be pending, and they can process the invoices. So make a long story short, AI can play the critical role in the communication aspects, which there is no human intervention required. They can collect the information, they can send the information out, they can request the information, they can collect, and they can provide the information for the accountant to book the accruals. This is one of the examples. There are so many examples I can come up with this, but ultimately the theme would remain same for the accruals.
Got it. Understood. That gives me a very clear vision of AI and how it helps in accrual. So thank you so much, Mike.
And again, I'm looking forward for AI to develop the module for the accrual, and then we can make this process so fast and so simple, so that what happens, that will take away a day or two from the month-end close, and people can do the month-end close a lot faster and spend some more time in analysis rather than collecting and gathering the data.
Of course, yeah. All right. Thank you so much, Mike, for being the speaker on AI and accruals. It was really great having you here.
Thank you. Glad to be here.